Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. He's Coach Jay. Welcome back. We're jumping back in to the film room. If you've never been here for one of the breakdowns, what Coach Jay does, he coaches ball out in California, so he's going to jump into the film room with us, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to learn a little something together. Today's subject matter is Gabriel Osenda, Tennessee's most recent commitment in the class of 2026. Took part in the Navy All-American Bowl yesterday, made his commitment, a big commitment, 6'7", 300, I believe 330 pounds. Now they said on the broadcast that the doctors have said he's not done growing. We could be looking at 6'9" and over 330 pounds. Coach, he had his hands full yesterday, but they talked about on the broadcast, this is the first year in Navy All-American Bowl history that they've allowed juniors to participate in the game. So he was playing against upperclassmen. He was thrown out there as the starting tackle for the East team because, look, throughout the course of the week, he was killing it in practice. He had a lot of buzz throughout the week. Charles Power over at On3 was talking about him. The guys at 247 Sports were talking about him. Just kind of talk about what you saw on the screen in the Navy All-American Bowl.
Yeah, number one, his power is good. I think his power is going to translate. His size, you can't teach that. I mean, look at the screen, 6'8", maybe 6'9", 320, 330, 340, whatever he ends up at after he gets in a, college nutrition plan, college weight room, prototypical, right? This kid has NFL size and you can't teach it. You can't fake it. You can't do any of that. I think the speed affected him a bit in the Navy game. You saw that. It's the first time he's seen that speed. This is a kid that he is so strong, and this is a common problem in high school. So I don't want it to come off like I'm picking on you, Gabriel. If you ever watch this video, I'm a big fan of what you do on the field. But in high school, a lot of times kids are guilty of being so strong that they can do whatever they want. They can ragdoll their defender whenever they want. And as soon as they get against legit speed for the first time, there's an adjustment period. I think we're going to see that for Gabriel Osenda, but I think he's going to be able to fight through that because the clay is good. The mold is good. We should be able to build this guy into a really, really good offensive tackle at the University of Tennessee. Glenn Ellerby, ding, ding, ding. You're on the clock with this one. We got a live one on the line. We need you reeled him in the boat, but I need you to flay him up good, man. I need you to hit him with that lemon pepper. I need you to grill him just right and get that meat just perfect so it's delicious for those small fans to eat when we finally get them on our plate.
Commits to Tennessee over Florida, South Carolina, and Minnesota. If you watch the broadcast from the Navy All-American Bowl, he also had a Georgia hat on the table. Georgia came swinging late. That's something that VolQuest has kind of put out the last week or so. Georgia was pushing. South Carolina was pushing. People want to look at stars, 3-star U's, stargazers. I like to look at offer lists. So, again, Florida, South Carolina, Minnesota, Georgia, Ohio State, Texas A&M, UCLA, Washington, Ole Miss. He could have played anywhere in the country. Glenn Ellerby, Coach Heupel, they got this one done, got him in the boat. What he said he liked about Tennessee, said they offered me when I first started to pick up a little buzz in my recruitment. Been on multiple visits there for game days. Every time I went there, it felt like Knoxville was home. The fans were amazing. The coaches made me feel like family. Talked to some of the players. They all love it there. I think I could really get developed. They had a great offensive line this year. I feel like there's a place that would bring me to the next level and build me up as a man and as a great football player. That's Gabriel Osenda on why he chose Tennessee. We're going to jump into the film room now. Coach Jay is going to walk us through a few plays, things that Gabriel maybe excels at, things that maybe he needs to work on. But first and foremost, we need you guys to give us that good 63 Butch Jones effort and smash that thumbs up below this video. It helps the channel. We would appreciate it. If it's your first time here, welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. We don't pretend to be experts or insiders or know more than you. What we are first and foremost is fans. So if you like it, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. You're not going to miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. We got a big one tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Amari Jefferson transferring from Alabama back home to Rocky Top. We're going to be hanging out with him tonight live, 7 p.m. Eastern time, so do not miss that. But let's jump in to the film room. Let's pull up. This is Huddle Highlights, postseason film, most recent film. If you go to Huddle, Coach Jay, walk us through it. What do we got?
I mean, number one, we got a playoff game, right? So I'll always take a little bit of elevated competition. All you recruits out there, post these playoff films, man. I love it when you guys do this. But just looking right out of the chute right here, we got a single back set, single wing, ace tight. That's two wide receivers in tight. To the line of scrimmage here. You got our linebackers. Both cheating a little close together. I got issues with these linebackers, but we're talking about offensive tackles today. But what we're going to get is the old punch come down drill. So we run this with the old shed blockers. You can see the black shed half dome pads. This is what we run. You punch one pad on one side, and then you come downhill on the other side. Boogie, give me that first punch. He's going to punch that defensive tackle to his mirror image here, left hand side. Give me that first punch if you can, and we can. Yeah, see that punch? Nice punch. I want that first punch even more violent. That first punch is good. He fells him out. But if you can knock him off his base that much further into your tight end, you have a tight end that's usually weight disadvantaged against a tight end. Give him a little bit harder of a nudge off his base. Feed him to your tight end before you take that 45-degree angle step to your Mike linebacker. Your Mike linebacker cheated his step and is out of position, so it didn't really hurt you there too much. Came downhill when he saw your down step. That's good. You're going to force out to him, Boogie. If you can pause it at the mesh point with that Mike linebacker and our offensive tackle, hands inside here, nice, right? He receives the contact instead of meets the contact with his hands. We could get those hands out just a little bit quicker, but he's able to fit them inside and get his feet choppy. Gabriel has really good feet. If they can teach him to get that butt down, that tailbone a little bit lower in his stance, not easy to do when you're 6'7", maybe going to grow up to 6'8" or 6'9". You're always going to look a little taller, and Coach Jay's always going to be picking on you. I know our offensive line coach got to be always yelling at him, keep that butt down. But let's watch him go ahead and force this wash down to the Mike linebacker and create a good hole for his tailback here. There we go. That's really nice. Finishes his blocks with a nice, good disposition. I know you brought it up there. You see him, put him on the parliamentary side of his butt there at the end of that play. So good feet, good choppy feet, typewriter feet at the end of that play. We'll take it. Moving on. Uh, we're going to get out of here. It's single back, single wing again. We're going to get a trap switch with the tight end playing the puller. Josh Heupel likes to do this a lot, and I like to showcase plays that Josh Heupel does, right? Where the tight end is going to act like a puller inside on the trap. We're going to see Gabriel have a little pop out step right here to get leverage on the defense of who's playing the defensive end in this kind of 3-3-5 scheme. Go ahead and show me that first pop out step of Gabriel, and then give me a pause, Boogie, if you can. Pops out, and he's got such good feet that he pops out a little too wide. You see how he's got his arm stretched out right here to make recontact with that defensive lineman? Uh, Kyle Kerberson somewhere is dying inside watching this, guys, because he talks about creating a half, drawing a line across the middle of a defender for an offensive lineman, because sometimes the easiest thing to do is not block a whole defense alignment, but block half of the defense alignment where you want him. He's got such good feet and such a wide stance that he's popped out a little too wide on this play, which is a little bit problematic. If you're a little further inside, Boogie, and you're able to get both your hands on him, then guess what? You can force him back into that outside linebacker that's directly behind him. And you can block two people for the price of one with the half shade right there. Go ahead and give me a couple more seconds here. We'll talk about engagement once he gets in tight. Pop, 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 pop. There you go. Engagement. Now, once again, Kyler Kerberson, if you're watching this film, I know you're upset and throwing your remote, because here's two things you don't like. He has grabbed somebody and he's just going to throw him to the ground, right? This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about he is so strong. He can do whatever he wants with big high school defensive linemen. But we already saw it in the Navy game. He is not going to be throwing Ohio State defensive linemen like this. He is not going to be throwing Georgia defensive linemen like this, Alabama defensive linemen. He's not even going to be throwing Vanderbilt defensive linemen like this. So even though he's got nice, quick, fast feet on his pop out, he needs to show good spatial discipline with where he aligns in his alignment. But man, is this kid strong. He throws kids like rag balls. Quick pop out, a little too deep, hand inside. All right.
You mentioned the Navy game. Oh my gosh, what are we doing? See, we got to get this thing dialed back in. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've been in the film room. You mentioned the Navy game, and again, he struggled at times in that game, but again, a junior, right? And reading through some of the reports, Charles Power talked about absolutely massive at 6'7", and then he goes on. Andrew Ivins of 247 Sports said he's one of the younger players in attendance, but you wouldn't know that given his size. Everybody's talking about his size and his athleticism, but something Andrew Ivins said that he worked multiple spots up front for the East and looked to be the most comfortable on the right side of the line. In addition to his hulking frame, we're really encouraged by his ability to refortify and reset during one-on-ones. When you look at his size and you look at his length, and again, he's only going to get bigger, going to get more length. Do you think he ends up as a tackle? Do you think he could be a guy that you could slide back into guard? Talk about that. We talk about tackle bodies and length at tackle versus more of a, what you like to say, a squatty body on the inside at guard. Where do you see Osenda ending up?
I think he's got good enough feet to play on the inside, certainly. I like him at right tackle the best. I think it suits him really, really well. One thing that I didn't see in his film, though, is him pulling a lot, Boogie. And this is something, that we've talked about a lot on this channel during film breakdowns, how Heupel likes to pull tackles that know how to pull. He uses it a lot in his games. Now, I don't anticipate that being a problem for him. Now, you do have to kind of get low through your chute as you're traveling down the back of the line and watch your feet as you're traveling through. But he's got really good feet, doesn't cross them a lot, doesn't get out over his toes a lot. Those are two comments right there you hear all the time, me kind of hacking on offensive linemen for. You don't really get them in this film. He doesn't cross his feet. He doesn't get out over his toes. He doesn't reach and you get teached. He doesn't have those issues, which makes me believe he can play tackle. And I think he belongs on that right side. I think ultimately maybe you have David Sanders on the left side and, the winner. Maybe Bennett Warren grows into that right tackle position by that. Maybe one of these junior projects, kind of grow up by then. We'll see where it goes. But I like him in the right tackle spot, for my money.
That's the exciting thing about, Glenn Ellerby struck out those first two cycles, but that's been a minute. And now we're seeing that offensive line unit start to build, that offensive line room start to grow. And that's, something we kind of talked about before we went live is Glenn Ellerby. Hey, it's your time to start developing some of these young guys. Now they've got the opportunity because those COVID senior guys are gone. Coop's gone. Sprague's gone. We're going to see what Glenn Ellerby does with some of this young talent. We're going to look at a few more plays here. I want you guys to jump in the comment section. We're about 13, 14 minutes into this thing. What do you think of Gabriel Osenda and what you've seen on this tape? Did you watch the Navy All-American Bowl? If you did, are you concerned? Are you worried? What did you see that was good? What did you see that was bad? Put in the comment section. Let's talk about it. Coach J, 50-second mark.
Strong left, single back, twins to the right side of your screen. We're going to have tackle on the left side. On this play, we're just going to get a simple pass protection here. And we're going to get a couple kick out, gather step, like kick, gather. And you'll notice with his length, it doesn't take him a lot of steps to get where he needs to be. Go ahead and give me those kind of first kick out gathers, maybe up to the first punch point, Boogie, where he first punch. There you go. You got contact, and you see he is so strong that first punch gets it around his back and completely spins him around, almost like a bullet hit this player in the shoulder. And then the next two punches just put him on his butt really, really quickly. This is the type of pocket formation you really want to see, where he has taken just two quick steps because he's faster than him. Now, in the Navy game, he was having to deal with new speed, so he was getting deeper back into that pocket. But as long as he's creating a lat or a hoop around that quarterback, it gives him a spot to step up into. Vols should have, God willing, the creek don't rise, some pretty elite quarterbacks sitting behind Nico who can step into this pocket, either find that running back leaking out or the X wide receiver about to make that post pattern. But a nice kick out here, and if you let the play reach its summation, you'll see this quarterback had all day to throw this ball, and he puts him on his tail pretty easily. But I just like how much ground he can cover, because when you can cover a lot of ground quickly as a big 6'7", 6'8", 330-pound guy, you can negate some of that elite Southeastern Conference speed we see at the next level. He's going to have to continue to grow that part of his game, continue to get that kick gather step just a little bit quicker. But what you didn't see on that play, you didn't see him reaching, you didn't see him crossing his feet once a defender was turned, which is a common mistake.
I don't want it to feel like we're picking on him for the Navy All-American Bowl. I think it was good for him. I think it was good for him to see some elite speed. He plays, he's originally from Canada, went to Clearwater Academy International in Florida. Then he transferred to Baylor in Chattanooga for the 2024 season. I think it's good for him to see what his future is going to look like. Like, competition breeds success. So I don't want it to feel like we're picking on him. I think it was a huge opportunity for him as a junior to be out there going against some elite competition. Let's go on. What do we got next? 50,
9
59.
1 minute, somewhere in there,
There we go.
somewhere in that. And it's probably, yeah, okay. So right here, and we're not picking on him, but talking about that elite competition. Here's a play that we did see in the Navy game a couple times, at least I saw it, where it's a run play where he's just going to be straight down blocking. And this is a play where he was able to do this exact thing to elite competition, where you saw his power in the downhill running game be able to be super, super effective against really, really elite talent. And that's something that gets me really exciting. Not a lot to talk about here from a breakdown standpoint, Boogie, but you're just going to get a straight down block here. And man, is he going to hoe a row here, is he just completely swallows that guy. The kid tries to get up at the end, and I love how he puts him right back down on his butt again. Like, don't get up on me. Like, to have the audacity to try to get back up after I just pile drived you into the grass is extremely rude, and I'm glad he didn't get up a third time, or we would have probably had to put you right back down on the 23-yard line one more time. So, and once again, I'm just going to harp on it again. In that Navy game, he had no problem doing that to 4- and 5-star, not junior defense linemen, but senior defense linemen. So something to get really excited about here. What we're looking at here, we didn't really get a formation because we caught it, in the middle of it. We know we had a single back. We know the offensive guard to the inside of him got absolutely whooped because his back is in duress. But I want to talk about his arm here, Boogie. You see how that arm, once again, I brought it up early, how it's flailing out to the outside here. He is going to punch with that arm. And if you know anything about leverage, if my arm is out to the side and I want to punch, I mean, you could do it right now at home, sitting in your chair, watching that video. Put your arm to the outside and try to punch forward. How hard can you punch? Now pull that elbow in, pull it back, and punch, and tell me how much leverage you can get. It's night and day how much leverage you can get. I just want him to tuck those elbows in a little bit. Once again, I might be picking on his upper body here or his height, his pad level, but the feet here, feet inside, not out on his toes. Beautiful slide step. Go ahead and give me a couple more steps here, Boogie, till he engages on that punch. I'm telling you right now, if those arms were locked inside like they are now at the point of contact, at the point of punch through, he would have put this kid on his tail. I guarantee it. But look at his feet, shoulder width apart, hands inside. That's chef's kiss. That's what we love. This kid eventually is able to disengage from him. And I believe that's because that initial punch wasn't so strong, but man, those are good feet. And if his guard doesn't get beat, look at that hole, right? If his offensive guard doesn't get beat, that's a beautiful kick out block. You're able to get a good push through. He does disengage there at the end, which might be problematic, but get that hand inside. Look at those choppy, short little man. It is, guys. I can't tell you enough how hard it is to get a big tackle like that, to get those short, little, choppy steps in. I've seen offensive coordinators, offensive line coaches work at nauseum with 6'8" kids, and they can't teach that. What they can teach is to get your pad level down and your elbows inside. I think this is coachable. Once again, Glenn Ellerby, you're on the clock with this one. Coach Jay's got both of his eyes on you. I want to see this kid developed. I think he could be really special at the University of Tennessee.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited about his size, excited about his potential. Everybody that wants to say 3-star Hugh, as of the time of this recording, we're all going nuts over a certain offensive guard, Emmanuel Pregnon, who was a 3-star coming out of high school, went to Wyoming, got developed, got better, earned that spot at USC. Now he's the top interior offensive lineman in the portal. Offensive line is a tough position to evaluate. It doesn't matter what 247 Sports says, doesn't matter what On3 says. All that matters is whether or not Josh Heupel and Glenn Ellerby are accurate on their evaluation of Gabriel Osenda. He's the most recent commit in the boat, Tennessee, sitting inside the top 5 according to the On3 industry rankings. Got a long way to go. You guys jump in the comment section. Let us know your thoughts on Gabriel Osenda. Also, let us know who you want to see a breakdown on next. Now, we've done some of these in the past, so if we've already done it, we probably won't revisit it. Now we're thinking about maybe David Sanders. If he puts out his senior tape, we can go look at that, or, some of the guys already committed. Faison Brandon, I think we may have done on a live stream. Maybe we can revisit that. Some of the guys committed in the class of 26. Some of the guys committed in the class of 25. We're going to be doing Wendell Moy Jr., the transfer portal kid from Arizona. We're going to be doing that soon. So jump in the comment section. Let us know what you want next. We're going to try to do one of these per week if we have the time to do so. Appreciate Coach Jay jumping on amidst all the chaos out there in California. But that is going to do it for this one. Smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the Talkin VAWLS merchandise, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Also, if you like these, man, hit that super thanks button. These aren't as sexy. It's not breaking news. They don't get as many views, but guess what? I love doing it. So we're going to keep doing it. If you like it, hit that thanks button down below. We would appreciate that. Or you can join the channel for just $1 per month. But that is going to do it for Coach Jay. My name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.